Hello and welcome to a guide for Kennen. Kennen is a champion that recently got released into Wild Rift. He has an impactful ultimate, and if you use his ultimate properly in the backline in teamfights, it's almost impossible to lose the fight. He also counters a lot of the meta top laners, such as Darius. In this guide, I'll be going over all the things you need to know to main Kennen. I'll be going over his abilities, combos, build, rune, spells, and finally I'll be giving you some tips and tricks to play Kennen. Kennen's first ability is Thundering Shuriken, which is basically a skill shot that deals some AP damage. This skill is just a skill shot, so when you use this skill, you don't want to be running up to your enemy target and throwing this shuriken at max range, because this is going to be really easy to dodge and your opponent will see it coming if they're in any rank above iron. So rather, you want to be throwing this skill shot at unexpected times and mix it up, like throw it while you're last hitting or your enemy is last hitting, and you can also use this shuriken if your enemy is near the wall, so you can that disables their ability to dodge to the right side, so then you can throw the shuriken and hit it more consistently. Kennen's second skill activates his passive, which makes every 5th attack deal extra bonus damage and apply a Mark of the Storm. The active on this skill will shock nearby enemies from Mark of the Storm and deal a significant amount of damage, magic damage. So you can be using this to wave clear or to damage a bunch of enemies in an AoE attack. Next, we have Kennen's third skill, Lightning Rush. This is Kennen's mostly his engage tool and his escape tool. This allows Kennen to transform into a ball for 2 seconds and gain a bunch of movement speed and deal magic damage through the enemies that he passes through. The bonus movement speed is doubled during the first half second. Also, this will make Kennen gain attack speed for 3 seconds after finishing the third skill, so it's a great engage tool. This also makes Kennen gain 40 energy when he damages an enemy, and this deals a little bit less damage to minions. So a problem I see with Kennens that use this skill is that they don't try to regain the energy when using this skill, but if you need to take a small detour to gain that 40 energy, it's probably worth it, because it can make the difference between whether you have the energy to finish your enemy off with that last shuriken or not. Also, enemies will be trying to bait out this skill a lot, because it's your only tool to engage and disengage. So you want to be using this skill as a get out of jail free card, where you can just escape from any situation or just run down an enemy down the top lane. Lastly, we have Kennen's ultimate, and probably the most fun part about playing Kennen. This deals a huge AoE damage and stuns enemies that are inside this huge ultimate radius. This grants Kennen some armor and magic resist, and deals magic damage for every half second for 3 seconds, so it'll deal 6 ticks of damage. Every time that an enemy gets hit, each bolt will deal 10% more damage every single time. This attack also is great for when enemies turret dive you, so you want to be baiting out as many turret dives as possible, because after they turret dive you, they'll be surprised by the extra armor and magic resist that you get, and this attack deals an insane amount of damage. So it's a great tool for enemies that try to turret dive you. You can just punish them by using your ultimate. Okay, so I'm going to be going over Kennen's combos now, and this is Kennen's combo that you want to be using in lane, and just a basic quick stun combo on your opponent. So first, you want to be stacking up your passive so that you have 5 stacks ready to go and to put a mark onto your opponent. So you're gonna auto attack them, and then use your first skill, and then use your second skill, and this will stun your enemy, and you can follow up with an auto attack. Kennen's second combo, and a variation kind of on the first one, is instead using his third skill to proc one of the passive stacks. So what that would look like is using your third skill to proc a stack, then using your first skill, and then using your second skill to stun the target. And then after that you can follow up with an auto attack for more damage. Okay, lastly I'm going to be going over a trading combo that is good to use against opponents who are hiding in their minion wave. So first you want to be able to have your passive fully stacked to get that 5th auto attack ready. So you're going to use it, and then after that use your second skill, and then go through them with your third skill, and then use your first skill at a melee range for a guaranteed hit after your stun, and then follow up with an auto attack. And this is your trading combo and how you can deal maximum damage with your skills. So Kennen's combo that he wants to use after he hits level 5 and he has his ultimate ready is first using his third skill as a gap closer onto the enemy targets, and then after using his ultimate and his first skill, and then his second skill to deal a huge amount of AoE damage. So Kennen's engage combo that uses flash is pretty similar, but this one can really catch an enemy team off guard. You want to be using his third skill to get closer to them, ulting and flashing right after the ult to animation cancel. After that using your first skill and your second skill to deal a huge AoE damage. At full speed it'll look something like this. For Kennen's build, you want to be taking Infinity Orb as your first item, as this item really synergizes well with Kennen's kit. It'll give him extra damage for every ability that he deals, and also give him some magic penetration, which is really important for those tankier champions that you're going to be playing against in the top lane. After that, you can also be taking Awakened Soul Stealer, especially if you're winning lane and you want to impact the rest of the map. This will put a shorter cooldown onto your ultimate, and also just general cooldown reduction to spam all your skills. After that, you want to be getting a boot item. I recommend taking Ninja Tabi against most top laners, or Boots of Movement Speed, as these two are really great with Kennen's kit. Boots of Swiftness will help you reposition and to get in there during team fights, and Ninja Tabi will provide you armor against most of the AD top laners that are currently in the meta. However, you can also be going Boots of Lucidity for that extra cooldown reduction, or Ninja Tabi for that extra armor. For your enchant after the boot item, I would recommend getting the Proto Belt, because this item will help you engage into enemy team comps and give you an extra dash to get really into the thick of the enemy team and get that huge ultimate off. However, taking the Hourglass is also not a bad idea with Kennen, as the Hourglass will help you turn invincible right after you ult, so your team can follow up and you won't die after getting that nice ultimate off. The next item that you want to be getting is Rabadon's Death Cap, and this is an item that's almost essential for every AP top laner or mid laner in the game, as it just is a huge power spike in ability power. I will just give you that extra damage to really pain your enemies and make your ultimate hurt like crazy. Next, you want to be getting Liandry's Torment, which will provide you with more max health and ability power. This item will also help you in team fights, as when you're engaged in combat, you can get up to 10% extra damage against enemy champions. Also, you want to be getting a situational item for your last item. I recommend Morlanomicon against healing. However, Void Staff is also a great item against magic penetration. If you want to know more about itemization and how to pick a situational item for your 5th and 6th items, you should check out my itemization guide, as I go over how to build your trampoline specifically against enemy team comps and against enemy champions. So check that out if you are interested. For Kennen's runes, I would recommend taking Conqueror as his keystone rune. This will allow you to gain stacks when you hit the champion, whenever you poke your top lane champion. This rune synergizes with Kennen really well, as he can keep stacks easily. Also, the bonus damage that he gets is 10%, which is much more than you would get with almost any other rune. So I would recommend taking Conqueror. Next, for his second rune, I would recommend taking Gathering Storm for the increase of damage every 2 minutes. This will allow Kennen to scale better and just get stronger as the game goes on. For his next rune, I would recommend taking Regeneration, especially against enemies that you have to have more sustain for. This will help you regenerate health every few seconds, and just a great rune for overall staying in lane and having that sustain. For his last rune, I would recommend Sweet Tooth if you still need even more sustain, as this will provide you with more healing as well as some extra bonus gold. So you can give up some extra CS while staying at the same gold level as your opponent. However, usually I would recommend taking Mastermind, as this rune is extremely strong at the current moment. You deal 10% bonus true damage to monsters and turrets. Also, you gain an extra 100 gold and 500 XP upon taking these objectives. This is extremely good with Kennen, and I would recommend taking this rune. For Kennen's first spell, I would always recommend taking Flash. Flash is a great spell, especially combined with his ultimate. It's one of the necessary spells that you need with Kennen, because the Flash animation cancel that synergizes so well with his ultimate allows you to get into enemy backlines and be able to win team fights. The second spell that you want to be taking is Ignite, especially against champions that have lots of vamp or healing like Fiora. You want to be taking this rune to impair that healing and make sure you can take them down without having them heal so much. You can also be taking Barrier to mitigate some burst damage if your lane opponent is someone that has lots of burst damage, or you want to be using Barrier during your ultimate to have that extra sustain. Okay, so for some tips and tricks that I have with Kennen is using your Flash ult often and to take down the enemy backline. This is extremely important. If you take the enemy backline down and you stun them with this huge AoE ability, it will enable your team to win the fight. I want to say 98% of the time you're going to win the fight if you ult the enemy backline. And Kennen's ult is super OP, so you want to be looking for those juicy ults with that ult flash combo. My second tip for you is not using his third skill so often. I see Kennen players do this too often, where they'll use their third skill to get the burst of movement speed to roam around the map or to clear the wave when they are not safe. And when you do this, this enables you to get ganked. This leaves you vulnerable to enemy attacks, and you just have no escape tool other than your flash, so it's important to save your third skill for when you really need it. And I think that's it for my tips and tricks for Kennen. Now that's it for the Kennen guide. I'm so happy that you watched till the end, and I really appreciate all the support I've been getting so far. And we did it. We hit 100 subscribers. I am so stoked that we hit that milestone. I'm just like, honestly, the support I've been getting from you guys is just insane. So thank you so much for that. The giveaway will definitely be coming soon. However, I was busy making the Lulu and Kennen guide, so I couldn't get that video out, but I promise you that it will be coming soon. So subscribe if you don't want to miss out on that 100 subscriber giveaway. I'll be giving away a skin and also coaching. If you have any questions about playing Kennen, or just any questions in general about like any champion or itemization or something like that, then you can leave a comment down below. Also, most of my guides come from viewer requests, so if you want a certain guide, I will try to get that guide out for you, but currently I'm taking a small break from viewer requests because of the new Yordles that are coming out, and I want to be sure to make guides for those Yordles because I know a lot of you guys are pretty hyped up to play them, and I just want to make sure that you know all their combos and how to play them and how to use their skills properly. Before the video ends, I just want to say a little bit of the gameplay comes from Wildrift, so if you want to check him out, there's a link in the description. So that's it for the Kennen guide. I really hope you enjoyed, and subscribe if you enjoy my content and you want to stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!